is Valley News Live at 4.
We begin with breaking news this afternoon. The Morehead Police Department recovered a body from the Red River this afternoon. Just after 12:30, police say juveniles found the body near the shoreline in the 1000 block of 7th Street North. Here's a live look at the area now. Police say it appears the body had been in the water for a significant period of time, but they believe it is an adult male. The body is being taken to the medical examiner for an autopsy and positive identification. Fans and friends will gather tomorrow for the funeral of Fargo racer Casey Arneson. The 27-year-old, who many call Deuce, died Friday in a UTV crash in Becker County. The Red River Valley Speedway calls Arneson a great person and an awesome wheelman. His family says a celebration of life is happening at 11 a.m. tomorrow at Hope Lutheran Church in South Fargo. Services are also planned to honor the Indy Air National Guard Sergeant and Carrington Police Chief who passed away after a motorcycle crash. Public visitation for Brandon Sola is on Friday at Oak Valley Lutheran Church in Velva. The funeral will be held there on Saturday at 11 a.m. Sola will be laid to rest on July 11th during a service at the Fargo National Veterans Cemetery. The pool in Dilworth was finally able to open today after struggling with a shortage of lifeguards for the first part of the summer, and the weather was just about perfect for a dip in the pool. Let's head over to Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson to see what this evening is looking like. Hey, Hutch.
Nishay, thanks so much, and good evening, everyone. As we are enjoying some hot and humid weather, those air conditioners working extra difficult. They're hard to keep that humidity out of the air. As we look in on the Devil's Lake Basin, some thunderstorms around tonight. Take a look at this. First and foremost, we do have development out near the Williston area. Some storms out in Des Moines once again, but in our area, just really hit and miss. And as forecast, they're up north. The Devil's Lake Basin seeing some north of Maddock heading toward the big lake itself, and up north near the international border, that Towner County area spreading in towards, well, Langdon. We're going to see a stout thunderstorm there. Those could produce some hail, but as far as being severe, it's not likely. We will keep you posted, so keep your Valley News Live weather app handy. The hottest weather out to the west. Look at Minot, 88 there. It's a good 10 degrees cooler for the Bemidji area at this hour. In Fargo, things are quiet tonight. It looks hot. The wind fairly light, and will stay near 80 until after sunset. Now, as we look at Grand Forks, it's going to be similar there. First alert weather days have been declared for Friday and for Saturday and for Sunday. Some strong thunderstorms. It will not storm all weekend. Nishay, I'll have hour-by-hour details on what you can expect in our hot and muggy weather here in just a few moments.
Well, thank goodness it's not all weekend, Hutch.
Right.
All right, thanks so much. North Dakota's sole abortion clinic is inching closer to raising $1 million. Here's a live look at the Red River Women's Clinic in downtown Fargo right now. According to their GoFundMe page, they've raised more than $920,000 since June 24th. Clinic officials say they've bought a new location in Morehead and are asking for donations to renovate and furnish the new clinic. Authorities say the suspected gunman in the July 4th Highland Park, Illinois massacre admitted to his actions to police and indicated he wanted to wage a second assault. He's currently being held without bond. Chris Van Cleve has the latest.
The suspect in the Highland Park July 4th parade shooting showed no emotion during a virtual court appearance Wednesday. He's currently facing 7 counts of first-degree murder.
The judge found that the evidence was at such a level that he could be held without bond. Also, because the fact that it is a mandatory life sentence.
Investigators say while in custody, Robert Cremo III gave a voluntary statement admitting guilt in Monday's attack and revealed he considered another shooting when he briefly fled to Wisconsin.
He did see a celebration that was occurring in Madison, and he seriously contemplated using the firearm he had in his vehicle to commit another shooting.
Prosecutors told the court police found 83 shell casings and 3 magazines on the rooftop where prosecutors say the suspect launched the attack that killed 7 and wounded more than 30 others.
And everyone just started running for cover.
During the shooting, Gregory and Dana Ring rushed their children to a parking garage where they encountered a blood-covered toddler in the arms of a trembling Good Samaritan. They took the boy home with them.
He was happy. He was
fine.
He was
playing with our smallest daughter. They're watching cartoons together.
The Rings later learned both of little Aiden's parents were killed in the attack. Among the many questions, how the suspect was able to legally purchase 5 firearms despite 2 encounters with police in 2019 involving threats of violence to himself or others. The 21-year-old is due back in court in late July, where he'll likely face a cascade of additional charges. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Highland Park, Illinois.
Prosecutors say they expect an arraignment in August. Meanwhile, former President Trump's White House counsel, Pat Cipollone, is scheduled to appear before the Select Committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Committee members set the deadline for today for a deposition after issuing a subpoena last month. In a bombshell public hearing last week, former White House aide Cassidy Hutchinson testified Cipollone expressed concern about potential charges the former president could face if he traveled to the Capitol on January 6.
In the days leading up to the 6th, we had conversations about potentially obstructing justice or defrauding the electoral count.
The committee is also preparing for another public hearing next week, with the focus expected to be on domestic violent extremism and the rioters who breached the Capitol that day. President Biden told Brittany Griner's wife in a call today he is working to secure the basketball star's release from Russia as soon as possible. Speaking with Griner's wife, the president read a draft of the letter he is sending to Griner in response. Vice President Kamala Harris also joined Biden on that call. Griner was arrested at a Moscow airport back in February, where a search of her luggage allegedly revealed cannabis oil vape cartridges. If convicted on drug charges, she could face up to 10 years in prison. Her next hearing is set for tomorrow. Many businesses have struggled to stay afloat during the coronavirus pandemic, and the child care industry is no different. Now daycare services are dealing with another blow: inflation. Gabe Cohen shows us how it's all causing owners and parents to make tougher decisions.
At Kid Stuff Child Care Center in Baltimore, the cost of food, rent, power, and supplies is soaring.
Everything is up.
And Angela Kadani has raised wages roughly 40%, but is still struggling to hire staff, with one classroom closed and her wait list growing.
We're probably up between 30 to 35% for operating costs. That cost, too, is going to have to be passed along to our parents.
This fall, she'll raise tuition at her nonprofit for the 3rd time in 12 months. In all, up 30%. For some families, thousands of dollars a year.
What would happen if you didn't raise tuition prices?
We couldn't survive. We wouldn't stay open.
Programs nationwide are raising rates for the same reasons.
It's happening everywhere. To keep the doors open, this is what has to happen. And it's going to continue to get worse.
Inflation is just part of it. At least 15,000 programs have closed, with 11% fewer child care workers than pre-pandemic, leaving an industry with a median wage just over $13 an hour. Now many parents face longer wait lists and tuition hikes.
Revenue's going down even though there's demand for it.
Because we just don't have enough teachers to be able to get the amount of children that we used to have indoor buildings.
Sean Toner owns Beach Babies in Lewis, Delaware, a child care desert. He's raising tuition 8 to 10% this fall for the 2nd straight year to offset inflation and raise teacher wages to roughly $14 an hour.
I don't want to be that person that's driving away the parents.
You go to sleep.
Jessica Gebbia is a teacher at Beach Babies, and her 5-year-old son comes here for daycare.
Most of my paycheck is going just to have him here, and that's rough because now we have gas prices, food prices, everything's just going up and up.
Have you thought about leaving the industry?
I love what I do, and I can't. These children need teachers who do love what they do.
But many mothers have left the workforce, part of a trend. As of May, women's jobs made up 88% of those lost in the pandemic.
This is Jasper.
Towen Zhang and her husband have struggled to afford childcare in San Diego, $370 a week, since her employer cut her hours in half. So she flew her sons to Taiwan to stay with family as she looks for a second job.
If I just quit my job and stay at home and watch my kids, maybe the whole thing will be easier for my family. I hate to say this, but this is true. And the reason why we're still struggling, trying to pay for this child care. That's because I don't want to give up my career.
Millions of parents are making tough choices. For Jessica and her husband, a decision not to expand their family.
We think we're just gonna stick with the two.
How much of that is childcare?
The childcare plays a big part in that. I can't imagine having the two of them in daycare. There's just no way. I wouldn't be able to do this job.
According to a senior economist at Wells Fargo, the childcare industry has the greatest share of female employees, with women accounting for 90% of the workforce. The Fargo Morehead West Fargo Chamber is hosting a discussion to come up with solutions to similar problems being felt right here in the metro. Child care providers, policymakers, and employers are discussing the causes and effects of the lack of child care in the community. The event is happening at the Courtyard by Marriott in Morehead on July 12th. It runs from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. American drivers are getting a bit of a break at the pump this week. According to AAA, the national average for a gallon of gas is down 8 cents from last week. Experts say that is due to lower demand right now, but that could change soon because July is the busiest month during the summer driving season. Gas prices are varying quite a bit locally. According to AAA, the average price for a gallon of gas in Cass County is $4.64. Now across the river in Clay County, it's $4.73, and up in Grand Forks County, it's sitting at $4.59. The Red River Valley Fair kicks off in just a couple of days, and the Department of Transportation is helping people get home safe. ND Sober Ride is offering $10 off Lyft in Fargo during their fair. Codes will be available from July 8th through the 17th or while the codes last. Use Lyft code VZRRVF22 to get $10 off a ride. The pickup location is at the north gate of Lot E at the fairgrounds. It will be designated on the Red River Valley Fair map. The code is also available on the Vision Zero website. It can only be used once. The Fargo Park District was awarded 2 grants to pay for planting new greenery along the Red River near Lindenwood Park. The funding will allow for 3,000 trees to be planted. The money will also go towards removing invasive plants like buckthorn and to add much more desirable shrubs in wooded areas. The grants were provided by the Indy Forestry Council. Still ahead on Valley News Live, take a look at your boiler. A new recall has been issued for select models.
And on this warm summer-like afternoon, we're seeing a few thunderstorms develop as expected up to the north. These are all moving at about 20 to 25 miles per hour to the south and east. We'll track these and have an update on First Alert weather days declared for Saturday and Sunday right after this.